to care about immigration in this city and in this country with a sense of humanity. What we're seeing from ICE is not it, and we have not seen that from them in a long, long time.
Like him saying that they're going to abolish ICE, who's going to enforce immigration laws? So if you're telling me that you're going to abolish the agency federally that goes after illegal aliens and enforces federal immigration law, then who's going to do it then?
Well, my buddy Officer Tatum raises a very simple, straightforward question. It's so common sense. I mean, there's not even, an intuitive insight to what he's saying there. He's just literally saying, well, we have immigration laws. If you abolish ICE, there are immigrations and customs enforcement. And who's going to enforce that law? The reality is the Democrats don't want anyone enforcing that law. They would love for border protection to be abolished, the Border Patrol to be abolished. They would love for ICE to be abolished. They want lawlessness. There is no doubt in my mind that that is what they want. So, do we give it to them? I say no. Not a freaking chance in hell. President Trump at Davos yesterday, I played some clips of his speech, so I'm not going to do that, but it looks like there's a framework for Greenland. My assumption is we are not going to take possession of Greenland. We are going to have unfettered access to Greenland. Now, how long this lasts for? This is my biggest concern, because once President Trump leaves, and God forbid you get another dopey Democrat in there, do we botch the whole situation of having a military presence in Greenland? But I do believe President Trump has reached this framework. And so I don't think we're going to have to pay anything. He told Maria Bartiromo today that we're not going to have to pay anything for Greenland. We're just going to have access. I guess in some respects, that's the ultimate art of the deal. We get full access as if we own the place, but don't have to pay anything for it. This was him at the World Economic Forum yesterday talking to reporters. This guy, when I say the art of the deal, nobody does it better than this man. And so, we had markets collapsing under word of Greenland, but it wasn't Greenland. It was Japanese bond markets. But the media was trying to push that it was a Greenland situation. And President Trump then says, we're not taken by force. We're going to back off the tariffs. Markets then skyrocket. The world is trying to turn against President Trump on this. Not the world, but these leftist European leaders. They're awful. But you get the head of NATO. Listen to this.
So statements from me will not add anything here. And when it comes to the Arctic, I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic. We know that these sea lanes are opening up. We know that China and Russia are increasingly active in the Arctic. There are 8 countries bordering on the Arctic. 7 are a member of NATO. That's Finland and Sweden and Norway and Denmark, Iceland, Canada and the US. And there's only one country bordering on the Arctic outside NATO, and that's Russia. And I would argue there is a 9th country, which is China, which is increasingly active in the Arctic region. So President Trump and other leaders are right. We have to do more there. We have to protect the Arctic against Russian and Chinese influence. And that's exactly what NATO ambassadors decided to do in September. We are working on that, making sure that collectively will we defend the Arctic region.
Can you imagine? So Trump gets European countries to pay their 5% of GDP to put towards NATO and the safety and security of their own land, by the way. They want to push back against Greenland. No. You had the United Kingdom sending troops there. Was it to keep America out, or was it to keep China out? I'm not sure. Our allies are not really being very much like allies. France. I'm not a fan. I really am not. France, the worst. So you now get the leader of NATO say, Trump's right. These are real threats. We need America. Can you imagine? These European leaders must be going crazy. Must be going crazy, by the way, at a World Economic Forum that invites people like Alex Soros there. Now, you tell me if Alex Soros would be on a panel at the World Economic Forum if he wasn't George Soros' son, the architect of the destruction of America and the socialist agenda. George Soros' son, Alex. You tell me if he'd be invited if he wasn't George Soros' son. This guy does not seem very smart. You know his father's smart. He's made billions. Now, I don't like his politics, but you know he's smart. Alex, not so much.
But I don't think that that's the fundamental. I don't think the technology is the fundamental issue in democracy. Democracy is messy. I mean, democracy is about contestation of ideas. It's about plurality. It's about people having different truths, actually. Now, fundamentally, how society lives together civically.
Do you see what these Democrats, leftists, whatever you want to call them, do? They talk in circles. A lot about nothing. A lot of words, a lot of big words. Maybe they confuse you. I think they're confused themselves. In his case, in Kamala Harris's case, they just don't know what they're talking about. So they just talk.
In those contestations is obviously quite tricky. But I think that if we play too much on this disinformation card, we're taking the responsibility away from ourselves to actually create a narrative that inspires people to vote and to believe, in democracy and democratic.
Are you laughing? Have you understood a word that this man has just said? Is it funny? I don't know. It's funny in the fact that how does he have a father that is who he is in George Soros, and this guy could be absolutely useless. I mean, you can't be proud of him if you're the dad. Certainly not bringing on the family legacy, but go figure. George Soros rarely talked in public either. Didn't like it.